F. Scott Fitzgerald, author of The Great Gatsby. F. Scott Fitzgerald was born in St. Paul, Minnesota on September 24, 1896. He grew up in an upper-middle-class family and in 1908 was enrolled in St. Paul Academy. From a young age, he showed an aptitude for theater and writing. His first work that appeared in print was a detective story, The Mystery of the Raymond Mortgage, in the Academy's newspaper. After the Academy, he attended the Newman School, a Catholic prep school in Hackensack, New Jersey, where he met his mentor, Father Cyril Webster Sojourner Fay. In 1913, he entered Princeton University. There, his love of theater led him to writing many scripts for the Princeton Triangle Club's musicals. His early plays include The Girl from Lazy J, Coward, and Assorted Spirits. He also had stories printed in the Princeton Tiger and the Nassau Literary Magazine. In 1917, Fitzgerald left Princeton to join the Army. While in Montgomery, Alabama, he met his future wife, Zelda Sayre. After his discharge from the Army in 1919, he moved to New York City to work in advertising and also found time to develop his first novel, The Romantic Egoist. After several revisions, it was published as This Side of Paradise in 1920 and was a great success. His work gained esteem from people such as Ring Larder and Ernest Hemingway. Francis and Zelda married on April 3, 1920 in New York City and later had a daughter. The couple was rather notorious for throwing wild, raucous parties in their extravagant estate.
They happily settled into a lifestyle suiting the rich and famous in Westport, Connecticut. Fitzgerald continued to write short stories for newspapers, and his next major published work was a collection of short stories called Flappers and Philosophers in 1920.
In 1927, the Fitzgeralds rented the 27-bedroom mansion, Ellerslie, near Wilmington, Delaware, and their drunken parties ensued.
Fitzgerald was increasingly turned to alcohol and sometimes became abusive.
Zelda often acted out impetuously, embarrassing herself in front of friends and strangers.
She also became fixated on her old love of ballet, often practicing to the point of physical and emotional collapse. Fitzgerald continued to use his wife's mental breakdowns and their overall dysfunctional relationship in his writings, such as The Last of the Bells, Babylon Revisited, Emotional Bankruptcy, Crazy Sunday, and Trouble. In 1925, Fitzgerald published The Great Gatsby.
The Great Gatsby was influenced by his extravagant lifestyle in his enormous mansion and the massive parties that he and Zelda threw and attended. It was also influenced by his dysfunctional relationship with Zelda and everything else taking place around him.
After the success of The Great Gatsby, in 1926 he published All of the Sad Young Men. In 1930, Zelda had a nervous breakdown and was in and out of clinics in Switzerland for the next few years.
In 1931, Fitzgerald went to California to work on scripts for the Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer Company. He continued to appear in magazines, and in 1934 he published Tender is the Night. Zelda was profoundly upset that one of the characters, Nicole Diver, was modeled after her.
In 1938, he moved to California, having fallen in love with writer and movie critic Sheila Graham. He also worked with a number of other film companies, doing freelance work.
Fitzgerald's alcoholism continually interfered with his life work, requiring hospitalization at times. Zelda struggled with mental illness, meanwhile, and moved back to Montgomery to live with her mother in 1940.
The same year, Fitzgerald died of a heart attack at Sheila Graham's apartment in Hollywood, California. 8 years later, Zelda died in a hospital fire. Fitzgerald now rests in Rockville Union Cemetery with Zelda by his side.